there's one, and there's two. You measure your mic.
Guess who's back? I totally forgot to unmute it like a goofball.
Yeah, I saw that.
Guess who's back, baby? It's the Paranormal Talk Show. You guys love the esoteric, all the intelligence you can handle. I am your host, Robert Solomon. With me, right over this way to my left. My camera needs to come in on focus. I'm going to replace you. I got another camera. Right over here, the big homie himself, Spider. What's up, man? It has been 2 weeks since I have been on the show. Last week, I caught your Lost Civilizations episode.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic work, by the way. Always appreciate you taking up the mantle when I am out of town. We will always be bringing you content. If one of us is not here, the other one will provide the content. So you never have to worry about lapses in shows. You never have to worry about a rebranding. You never have to worry about a restructuring. You don't have to worry about late nights with folks on the road.
You don't even got to worry about people being sick, because I was sick as heck, and I was still like, I'm still doing the show, guys, I gotta do the show, and I was here. So
Undertaker last week.
That's what it sounded like.
Still wrestling a bunch of matches, even when he's 1,000. But he came in clutch. He's a little sick still. We ride with him. We ride with the homie.
Yep.
Oh, we do over here. So welcome. I am your host, and this is my co-host, and we are back together, teaming up for a Lost Civilizations episode, a proper Lost Civilization. Not that last week wasn't proper, but I felt bad for him. He was in bad form.
It was a bit short, and it could have had more, and I just wasn't.
It's okay, man. Listen, it's okay, man. It's fine. You came through clutch. We all love you. We appreciate you, and we're glad that you're here with us today, feeling better, of course.
Oh yeah,
you know,
definitely.
Because I watched the show. I'm like, man, is this dude on death's door? He's like,
it was pretty bad.
Civilizations in the on the past. There's a little blood on my hand. It doesn't matter. I'll be fine.
Yeah,
so
it was a rough show. It was rough, but I pushed it for the full half hour. I did. I gave in my.
I had tuberculosis during the episode. They sent me to a sanitarium.
For tuberculosis? Yeah, I mean, it made sense at the time.
Yeah, because and then like they would be outside in the sunlight and get fresh air.
Yep,
and that actually helped. Believe it or not, that actually helped. So gotta let it run its course. Welcome back to another episode of This Uncanny Earth. I'm your host, Densworth Farsby. Trying to clean my glasses. Listen, so as a person who just recently got glasses, and I know that Spider is very excited about this, I have to constantly clean them because it gets on my nerves if I see any spots.
Oh yeah, like you'll just get dust particles. You'll get like little bits of like little smears that just come up. Like if you're looking at something hot and it'll like you're cooking,
easy.
The steam comes up and the steam is like, whoosh, and so you gotta take your glasses off because you can't just wipe them off because you'll just smear the steam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are we drinking on tonight?
Well, tonight, other than my own phlegm, clearly, I have some Glenfiddich 15 years Scotch.
And I am drinking on a holiday classic, some Glühwein. It's a mulled wine that you heat up. And I heated this bad pupper upstairs and brought it down here for a great Christmas show. As you can see, I got the lights going in the back here, reds and greens and reds and greens and reds and greens and reds and greens and reds and greens. So we'll be doing a full-on Christmas episode. Was that 23rd? 23rd. That's in like 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today. That is crazy where we're at in the spring of things.
Yeah, year's almost over.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's what we got going on. We got that going on. So interesting news. So I'm going to start with my announcements here. On Sunday, I'll be doing a 12-hour stream for Fallout for Hope. And maybe we can get Mr. Spider here to throw on in some 76. Get a private world going, and
maybe I'll have to re-download it and everything. But
yeah, I'll have to re-download it too.
Yeah, I think it can be done because now that we can do the Twitch guests, we can be on the same stream.
We sure can. And also, we have the Discord chat too. So
yep.
So we'll be able to hear each other for once, or people will be able to hear us, and they won't think that I'm talking to somebody else. or talking to myself, I mean. So that's good. Also, in amazing news, your boy got the hookup with the ancestral DNA. I'm gonna get my DNA in the bank, and I'm gonna get some results on where I come from and who I come from. It's through ancestry.com, so I'll be able to trace my relatives. I'll be able to trace my DNA lineage. So I'm very excited, and I will do the results live on an episode of This Uncanny Earth. We'll go over it and we'll talk about it. Gonna plug that into some of the things and see what my conditions are, see what I'm prone to, and really just find out who I am as a person. I've been really excited about this. I've long said that I'm I'm Persian as a joke, as a running joke that we both have. That I'm 90% Zoroastrian. That's another joke. That's an inside joke.
It's going to end up being that you're related to some immigrant from Brooklyn. So you're just like some guy from Brooklyn.
Joey Fatous.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Joey Fatous.
Small time mobster who never really got very far in life, but he was a big man. So.
And left me some money.
Yeah. He left you like $3, which with inflation actually makes it like $30.
$30 I didn't have before, mind
That's
you.
right. That's true. So
that's right.
It's all good news all the way around.
100%. 100%. Or maybe he leaves me like a trunk full of money.
Stolen money, though. You gotta be careful.
I'm still gonna spend it.
It's all laundered. Well, yeah, if you spend it first, they can't do nothing about it.
I can't. It's all laundered. He stole a bunch of money from a loan shark. Hey, you owe Jerry 2 heads over there. Or I'll be part Nephilim. Maybe something. Got a little Mesopotamian.
I bet a lot of people got some Mesopotamian though.
I know one person that does.
I kind of feel like a lot more people than know probably do.
I mean, it would make sense. Maybe they got some Akkadian.
I think the people who wouldn't have like anything from that region somewhere in their history would probably be the suspect kind of people, because those are the Earth people that we don't know about how they got started.
Yeah, it's either that or they're straight Caucasian, like from the Caucasus Mountains, like Mongol related Caucasian, because Mongols and Caucasians look very similar sometimes. So all that region, like Ulaanbaatar and all of Mongolia, you got Mongolia right next to Russia, really.
Yeah.
So in China, you got all that like right there. And the Mongols, like, it's weird because I've seen a lot of different Asian people, and like Southeast Asians generally look somewhat alike. Japanese don't. They're like the outliers of Asian people, and it's crazy because when World War II happened, they thought they were the superior race, like Hitler thought whites were the superior race. A lot of people don't know that or glance over it.
Yeah, because since they were on the island, they had a more homogenous, like separated
100%. Yes, they did.
set of DNA markers compared to the other Asian countries. You might get a little bit of Japanese mixed into the other ones, but
you
not
get
so
your
much
Japanese out of my racial soup right now.
Not necessarily mixed in with Japan. Like if you go to Japan, you're not going to find as much as if you go to maybe Japan's neighbors. You might find some.
Yes.
Because they went into China and did, Nanking and everything like that. And so I'm sure there were some mixing there and various things. But again, the opposite way probably isn't true. Not so much.
I think that honestly, there's going to be a lot of things we don't know because, like you said, tonight's episode, Lost Civilizations, brought to you by This Uncanny Gaming and This Uncanny Spirits Club, the premier place for tasting of the finest liquors or the not so finest liquors and beers and wines.
Sometimes it's not so fun.
We did go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Because of that, now that you brought that up, I don't want to forget. My shipment from Cedar Ridge is on the way, so that means I'll be having some moonshine.
Are you going to come over?
Well, yeah, I got 2 bottles of it, and I got some experiments planned for each one. It's moonshine that would have eventually become bourbon if you did the right aging and everything else, but instead it's straight from the still, put in a bottle. So
we finna get toe back.
so I got some ideas for it, and I've been looking forward to it, and we'll be doing that in the near future.
And also, I will probably be getting a bottle or two for us. Some trash. I'm gonna buy some trash.
Yeah, we got to taste some
I'm
trash
gonna
because you never know.
buy some trash.
You might find some trash that's not so trash, or you might find some trash that's just trash.
I think we should buy the Monty Alban.
That'd be worthwhile to try.
Then cut the worm in half, and both of us eat a half of the worm.
It'd be worth the try.
I would try it. I know. I think the Giant Eagle and up here sells it. So when you come over, we'll go up there and we'll buy a couple bottles, that and some trash. But I got to think of the trash I want to buy because it has to be. I don't want it to be plastic. Very
well. That's the thing about the cheap shot challenge. It's not about buying something because it's cheap and crap looking. You still want to get something, hopefully, that's good. You stick within a price point. If it's got to be less than $20.
That's a good idea.
$20 or less. And I'm still going to try to stick to our standards. Like we're still on a glass bottle if we can get it, and it still has to look like it's something like it may end up being garbage, but at least it looks good and it looks like it might be good to try.
Yes, 100%. Okay.
That's the cheap shot challenge.
Cheap shot challenge is coming up. We also have the Exquisite Spirits Club where we will be reviewing higher ended bourbons, scotches, tequilas, vodkas, all that good stuff. We will also be having This Uncanny Gaming live stream. Hear me, Spider, a game. We're going to play it, sit down, goof off, have fun. Be prepared for that. Once again, Sunday, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Sunday night. I'll be streaming live for the St. Jude Children's Hospital, raising money for Fallout for Hope. So we're going to be getting in some 76. You're going to see me jump on some, maybe some PC. We're gonna get it all figured out. We might just stick to Xbox, put some Fallout 76, maybe some Fallout 4 on there. Go Hamburger Helper. So be prepared for that. I'm excited. Just raise money for the baby, so you don't want to miss that one. I think that's it. Gonna send out my DNA on Monday, little spitting thing, and then send it out, and then we will get that results back, and we will 100% do it live on the show. You guys are gonna be super excited. Also, I did not forget. We have Rogues Hollow and we have the Canals. I still have the video footage. It's still coming. Do not fret. That's looking into January. For you cold weather folks, January is going to be a good time for us. I'm going to tell you why. We got some trips planned in January. We're going to be going on not far trips, our max of the places we're going to go. And we're going to do some filming. It's going to be cold, but I think that the best way to get over the winter blues is to get out there and film some cool stuff. And so we're going to make that. We didn't forget about the expeditions, guys. I know you guys like, man, they talked about it, never happened. It happens. We ran into some issues, technical difficulties, money situations, but it is coming soon. So please bear with us as we will give you the best in paranormal, esoteric, and intelligent research. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, gripes, please feel free to email us at thisuncanniearth@gmail.com. So check out if you got the Gmail. Just we're gonna put it here in the thing. We'll have Spider put it in the crawl down here, so he can have the YouTube part and then that part. And we'll link a whole bunch of stuff down there, and then people can go to it.
Yeah, because I don't think there's a limit to how many I can put down there. It'll just do like one after the other.
So we're gonna work on that. Now it is time for probably not my co-host favorite part of the episode, Old Man Style. It's time for fatherly jokes. I'm gonna try this. It's time for dad jokes.
That was better than last time. You've been practicing.
Yes. I also switched up a little bit too because you got to harmonize different. If you can't do one, you got to do the other.
If you got to do solo, you got to do cover all the bases.
Did it pretty good. Okay, what did the janitor say when he jumped out of the closet? What did the janitor say Pshoo, pshoo.
Supplies.
When he jumped out of the closet. Supplies.
Supplies.
There it is. He knew it. He knew the answer to
Yeah.
the joke.
That's from a Weird Al movie.
Is it?
Yeah.
UHF?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Conan the
Yep.
Librarian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just watched that like a few weeks back, so it's still fresh.
It's a
Well,
good
I mean,
movie.
I'd watched it before. Like
Right.
I grew up with that movie, but
It's a
I
good
watched it
movie.
again recently.
It's a solid film. I like it.
It is pretty funny.
So tonight we're talking about Lost Civilizations, and me and Spider been watching Ancient Apocalypse on Netflix, hosted by Graham Hancock. Now, Graham Hancock, I have one of his books over here, so I can see it. The Sign and the Seal about the Ark of the Covenant. I think I have one more or two more of his. But yes, he is a prolific author. However, he is mired in controversy by mainstream archaeology, who think that what he is spewing is lies. Now, mainstream archaeology is something both of us know is never going to tell us the exact truth. It's never going to happen. They will tell you enough truth than the other stuff that's like, well, it was probably a sandstorm or it was probably something else, when it really wasn't any of that. And so we have been watching that, and I got to thinking earlier this week, and I said, you know what? Spider did a really good job, even though he was on death's door last week, and he took up the mantle. He did a fantastic job. I'm glad I watched it. It got me thinking we need to do some more on that. 20 some odd minutes. I think it was like 24 minutes that you did.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough. It's not enough to expound upon such a wonderful topic. So we can now expound upon it as a team, because both of us, I like to think that and please tell me if I'm wrong here, but this man next to me, well, in the camera next to me, he's not sitting next to me, is one of the most intelligent men I know personally. Very smart. We always have some good religious discussion. It never turns into a fight, never turns into anything but just two guys having a healthy discussion. And I think that, iron sharpens iron, and he's very intelligent, and I respect his beliefs. He don't believe like I do at all. We're complete opposites. Professor X and Magneto, we get together and play chess. But that's the thing about what we talk about tonight, is that we both have a wealth of experience learning about ancient civilizations, lost civilizations. We've done episodes on Atlantis. We've done episodes on Iran. We've done episodes on biblical studies. We've done all of that. And also, I wanted to make another announcement. I forgot about this. I will be starting a Bible study on YouTube, just for you folks to come in, like-minded individuals. You don't have to be a Christian. You don't have to be any specific religion. It's not something that's going to attack you. But I just want to go over the historical aspects of the Old Testament, and we're going to kind of work through it together. And we're going to just go through the whole thing, actually. I'm going to go through every single part of this, and just to show you how big the Old Testament. This is the Old Testament. This is it. It's the Old Testament. That's the Old Testament right there. Here it is, right here. Right here. The literal concordant, the thing's backwards. I can fix that, though. It's not a big deal. But the concordant version of the Old Testament, it's a really thick version of it. So we're going to start working on that, I think. And I would love to do that. Anybody that wants to join, by all means, let me know. We can put you in the StreamYard, and we can have a fantastic discussion. I might get my buddy Lawrence up in here. You guys know Lawrence. Well, some of you know Lawrence. Good guy, good friend. Another person that I talk religion with, he's a Christian. So we have pretty good conversations along those lines. So that will be coming soon. I have been mulling over how to do it, probably obviously through StreamYard, because I have the ability to do it now. Probably get another camera, and this way I can have one on the Bible itself and one on me. And we'll figure that out from there. We'll figure out how to do that. So that's coming up soon. I've been wanting to do it for a while, and I feel like now is the perfect time. With everything we got going, I think it's just another way for us to really expand our knowledge and get other people's insights. So, and it will not be attacking. So don't come into this thing that we're going to attack other religion or other religious beliefs. I'm not for that. I've studied many religions, and we can do episodes on the Quran. We can do episodes on the what is it? You know what it is? The Bhagavad Gita?
Bhagavad I can't remember if it's the D or the G that goes first. Bahagada Vita. I'm probably getting it wrong. I even have there's a copy of it in my house somewhere because she's got a copy. But
The Bhagavita, the Bhagavad
there's more
Gita.
to it. Yeah, it's Bhagada or Badaga or Bahadiga.
There's so many, like, see, that the hardest part about Buddhism, in my personal opinion, is all the dang consonants. Why is there so many sevens there? Get it? It's a joke. Why is there so many G's and J's? I mean, it's all, it's almost like Icelandic. You know what I mean? Like, they got a lot of consonants together with no vowels, like Reykjavik, which is, I think, the capital of Iceland.
Yeah.
So, and that's all. That's a mess. Try to spell that. There's a J in there, just so you guys know. There's a J in Reykjavik. Just a J. Our good friend Chelsea Yurkovitz, she had a J in front of her name. So, it's crazy. But yeah, we'll be going over that. Maybe the Tibetan Book of the Dead. But I want to get in tune with everything. I mean, I still hold my own personal religious beliefs, and we'll talk about those. But I think it's a very good thing to kind of just have conversations. I think it's been something that's needs to happen. Sensible conversations, not back and forth yelling and you're doing this and you're doing that and you're this and that. No, we're not gonna do that. So we're just gonna have a good conversation and just getting that going. So that'll be on YouTube coming soon on the This Uncanny Earth channel. I might create a whole different channel for it, but we'll see. We'll see. I kind of want to keep it in This Uncanny Earth and we can just kind of go from there. So tonight, Lost Civilizations. Now, I know we're getting into the topic almost in the halfway point of the show, but that's what happens. You guys know this. But so Lost Civilizations. Now, we have evidence of these lost civilizations, these ancient civilizations. Nobody can say they didn't exist. They've been finding traces of different structures, like in Malta. They found some structures that aligned. In Malta, they found stuff in Mexico with Quetzalcoatl being the serpent guy. I've talked about Quetzalcoatl before. And he actually came from another region after the flood. So we talk about flood myths here. We had an episode about flood myths, I think, a few months back, maybe a month back. Doing the research on the flood myth, we realized that there are multiple civilizations that have that same myth. So what happened? Was there a worldwide flood? A lot of people think yes, there was a worldwide flood. I think it could have been regional, and I tell you this because not everybody died on that flood. In Genesis, it talks about the Nephilim and the men of renown and the messengers coming down to have intercourse with human females. But the thing is, if that flood wiped out all of that, what about King Og of Bashan? What about the Philistines, Goliath? What about the Rephaim? What about all of these beings that were still giants? They have the bed of King Og being 13 some odd feet. Where does that happen? I think that what we're seeing today, and a lot of people say, well, why aren't there giants? If they were here, where did they go? Well, we have to take a look at our civilization, our eating habits, the atmosphere, the change in planetary shifts. And I think what you're going to see is you're going to get shorter. You're not going to be, so many inches of height. You're also not looking at, back then there wasn't as many people. There's 8 billion people now. And like I said, the foods, the air we breathe, everything is kind of polluted. So I don't think mankind has the ability to live, and I hate to say this term, his best life or her best life because of that. We can't go back through our genetics, but I think that we can understand that these places did exist. And I think it's high time we stopped acting like they didn't. And what I think, why mainstream archaeology, mainstream science doesn't accept this kind of stuff, because it would destroy their theories. It would destroy their theory of evolution, of mankind coming from animals and being highly intelligent. They believe in the cave people in terms of the idiot cave people. And I think CNN had an article a few days ago, a week ago, about how the Neanderthals actually made kind of like processed foods.
Mhm.
They were able to figure out how to do that. And we see a lot of science showing the cavemen as being these dumb idiots that didn't know how to do anything. We're looking at civilizations that may have been more ancient or may have been more advanced than our own. We look at Atlantis, for instance, that Plato talks about. A lot of people say, well, that didn't exist. Plato used it as an allegory. It wasn't real. But I think it was very real. And I think we have Egyptians that talk about Atlantis, and we have different folks that have spoken on it. We have Antarctica that was once a lush region, and now it is a frozen tundra. It's those kind of things, and I'm going to get into a Bible verse here that I want you guys to understand, and I'm going to start with it's the story of Cain and Abel. Okay, you guys know about Cain and Abel, so I'm going to start when God finds out that he's killed Abel to give you guys a little backstory on what we're going to be talking about here. So as you guys know, he kills his brother because his offerings God is not accepting. But the reason God doesn't accept Cain's offerings because Cain is not giving from his heart, mind you. He is giving from a place of I have to give instead of I want to give. Where Abel is like, listen, I got all this stuff. This is yours, and God's like, you're giving me your best, while Cain is giving me his second best. He's not giving me what I think he should give. I made you in my image, and you're not doing what you're supposed to. And I think that was a obvious test and a obvious reference to making sure that you give God your all and give everything your all. If you're gonna do something, do it. Don't half-a it, if you will. And I think it's a good symbol of that. So here we go. And it came to be, and we're going in Genesis 4:3. And it came to be at the end of a year's days that Cain brought an approach present to Yahweh from the fruit of the ground. As for Abel, however, he brought some firstlings of his flock and their fat portions, and Yahweh gave heed to Abel and his approach present. But to Cain and his approach present, he did not give heed. So Cain's anger grew very hot, and his face fell. Then Yahweh said to Cain, why is your anger hot, and why is your face fallen? If you had done what is well, would you not lift up your face? But since you have not done well, at the portal there is a sin offering, a recliner. And for you is restoration in his sacrifice. You are ruling over him. Cain said to his brother Abel, let us go into the field. And now it came to pass while they were in the field that Cain rose up against his brother Abel and killed him. So Yahweh said to Cain, where is your brother Abel? And he replied, I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper? Then he said, what have you done? The voice of your brother's blood is crying out to me from the ground. Now you are cursed, away from the ground which has opened wide its mouth to take your brother's blood from your hand. When you serve the ground, it shall not continue to give its vigor to you. A rover and a wanderer shall you become on earth. Cain replied to Yahweh, too great is my depravity to bear, since you drive me out today off the surface of the ground, and since I shall be concealed from your presence and will become a rover and a wanderer on earth, it will come to be that anyone finding me shall kill me. Let's take a second. Let's take a second. Let's pause real quick, okay? So, in the beginning, God created Adam and Eve. That's not true, though. In the beginning, God created mankind, man and woman, and told them to multiply on the earth. So let's make sure we understand that. But if it's just Adam and Eve, right? Adam, Eve, Cain, Abel. It's 4 people, okay? Because a lot of Christians believe that just as 4, Adam and Eve were just 2 people, and there wasn't mankind, that they populated the earth, which wouldn't be possible. But we'll get back to that. So he says, it will come to be that anyone finding me shall kill me. Well, who's anyone? Anyone? Adam, Eve? They gonna kill him? No. Anyone. Meaning multiple people. Can't be Abel, he's dead. He can't come back from the grave and kill him. But anyone. And we continue. Yet Yahweh said to him, not so. Anyone killing Cain sevenfold shall he be avenged. So Yahweh placed a sign for Cain, by no means to smite him should anyone find him. Then Cain went forth from the presence of Yahweh, and he dwelt in the land of Nod, east of Eden. Cain knew his wife. She became pregnant and gave birth to Enoch. Not the same Enoch, this is a different Enoch. Then he engaged in building a city, and he called the city's name by the name of his son, Enoch. Building a city. Why would you build a city if you're only 3 people? If you're Cain, his wife, and Enoch, you don't need a city for 3 people. You need a city for multiple people. So we're seeing here that that it's what I think, and this is my opinion. You guys take this for what you want. I think that the excuse me, the outlying regions, Nod and maybe some of these other civilizations. Hello, Zach. What's up, buddy? Z-Man is in the house. Please do that. Please do your thing. There it is. We are doing good. Thank you for commenting. We appreciate you. We're just talking about lost civilizations tonight. So thank you, Zach. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So what I think is the Garden of Eden was basically a production facility, if you will, and that the civilizations that existed around the Garden of Eden is where they got their crops from, their food from, because it was a vast garden. It was huge. And we see the tree of good and evil, and we see that it was ate by both Adam and Eve, and they were removed from the garden, and they pretty much closed the garden down for people. The garden didn't take any, so people had to actually, toil and work. And I think God, created that as like a co-op almost. People could come in and get fruits and vegetables because they didn't have meat back then. People didn't eat meat during that time. And I mean, there's no record of the eating of the meat until after. Sacrifices were after they were kicked out of Eden, not during their time in Eden. So we have to look into that. I'm not saying that let's go be vegans and whatnot. I'm just pointing out that there was no talk of eating meat in the Garden of Eden times, because I think that the tree that a lot of people ate off of was nourishing, was life-giving. It could be the reason why you have the Babylonian kings list of these kings that lived 40,000 years. It was kind of like what was that? We did a episode on immortality or foods.
Like ambrosia.
Yeah, like ambrosia. But there was one that we did. It was either apples or cherries that I think it was a Chinese legend that they were immortal. And the gods had to eat them once a year. And I think that's what the Garden of Eden was. It was a place to get food to give back to the neighboring civilizations. Why would God have a gigantic garden with everything in it and only 2 people are there? I think Adam and Eve were tenders of the garden. They worked in the garden. They made sure things were good, and then they, did something. Because I don't necessarily think that eating of the tree was the actual sin that they had committed. I think there's something else, and I have yet to stumble upon what that something else is. The apple is a symbol of something. I've read different things regarding sexual things and things of that nature in regards to that, but I've yet to come up with a solid tale of why that was used. And God does that. He puts that out there for people to decipher, because the knowledge is hidden, and only certain people can find it. And that's a good thing, I think. But when we read that, we see that once they were kicked out, then everything went different. Then Cain comes, kills his brother, goes off to Nod. Now, here's the thing. Adam and Eve produce 2 sons, Cain and Abel, right? Cain goes to Nod, a whole nother city. Adam and Eve would not be able to procreate enough to create a whole city. And even if they did, the inbreeding that would happen between brother and sister would 100% destroy the bloodline. It would 100% mess things up. It would, without a doubt, just do the things that need to be done, and you can't. You have, I've seen dogs, Dalmatians are a key point of this. Some of them are bred too close to the bloodline, and when a dog is bred too close to the bloodline, they're crazy. You can't, their brain is a mess, so it's you can't really do anything about it. And so we see that, and I think too, and Spider's going to talk here in a second, I promise. We have these lost civilizations, and the Bible right here tells you about it. And then I could go on to the Quran that talks about Aram of the Pillars, another lost civilization. So I mean, it doesn't stop. And before I go nuts here, I think that these civilizations are right in front of us in these religious texts. A lot of religious texts talk about these people were crazy, and so we went over there and killed them. But where were they? Where were these other people? Right? And I think that we need to start looking deeper into that. And I think that will give us the answers we need on where we come from. So I have overstayed my welcome. Spider, give us your thoughts, your opinions, and let us know what you think.
Well, I think you've got something there about how a lot of this stuff is in a lot of the so-called spiritual texts that everybody holds dear. A lot of the academic community will say that, oh, it's all allegory. Every little bit of it's allegory because it's supposed to support a religious viewpoint. And in some aspect, probably a lot of it is because, that's how that stuff works. But certain of it is still based on historical stuff. Like the Quran has a heck of a lot of history in it, even if it's slanted towards their particular viewpoint, because that's what you do when you're writing a religious book. The one interesting thing about the Old Testament is there's a lot of points where people lose. So you can't always say that, oh, it's written by the winners, because a lot of times they get their backsides beat and sent off from wherever, and then they get chastised. They're like, hey, you didn't do what I commanded you to do, so now you're going to wander in the desert for 40 years, or now your whole army is going to be destroyed, or now this and this, told you so. And there's a lot of that in there. But again, that's a little bit of a morality play to try to keep people like, don't do this or you'll end up like these things. But maybe that's also a hint at how some of the old civilizations used to be as well. Because a lot of what we find written about ancient civilizations, this rumor and things, is that they were destroyed because they were wicked or because they did bad things, or and we don't really know what that means. We know what the books tell us about it, but we don't know what it actually means. And it could be much simpler. It could be they did what the Mesoamericans did. Some of their civilizations collapsed because they overfarmed. They caused drought. They caused all kinds of things. Other people, maybe they were supposed to prepare for adverse weather events that they knew were coming, and they didn't. Maybe they squandered everything, and so their civilization fell, and they were warned, hey, you know what, this is coming, you got to do something. No, we're not worried about it. And then bad things happen. Just like the flooding. I mean, the flooding, it's, as much as I don't think the entire planet flooded, I do think at the end of the Ice Age, as Graham Hancock talks about, there was enough flooding in enough areas of the world where there were major civilizations present. And because as people, we build our cities in places that we probably shouldn't. Like in New Orleans, it's a floodplain. A hurricane comes along, destroys the city. I'm not going to tell everybody that you're wrong for living there, that you should all move, whatever. But it's inherently kind of a bad idea.
Yeah.
And we're like that the world over. Most of the cities, most lost civilizations that we're uncovering now, that we're thinking, oh, you know what? This was actually a real place.
Yes.
We're uncovering in coastal areas or areas that are nearby coastal areas. And those are the first places that are going to get covered up in a flood event. Yep. And so most of the major cultural civilizations probably did get wiped out in big events that happened as the planet changes. And the planet does change. It changes pretty often. We're in the midst of a lot of changes right now. And I don't think we understand exactly what direction all those changes are going, because there's a lot of talk about doing this for the environment, doing that for the environment, whatever. We were all worried about the ozone back in the 80s. And then within the last like 10 years, they said the hole closed itself up and regenerated. So nobody talks about the hole in the ozone layer anymore because it's not there right now.
Yep.
So
That's true.
we don't understand how to fix the damage that we think we may be causing. And that's not to take a stand against like environmental stuff. You should do, good things about your environment. You shouldn't be a jerk and you shouldn't just like, throw your trash everywhere.
Facts.
But I don't think you should go nuts about it because we don't know. We have no idea what impact we actually have. And
Right.
they probably didn't at the time.
And I think too, not to interrupt, but I think when we dig at sites like Göbekli Tepe, and we dig in Malta, and we dig in these Mesoamerican places in Mexico and stuff like that, what we're finding is we're finding that here is one civilization, but as we're digging deeper, we're finding multiple civilizations in multiple layers of the earth. And what I think is happening, this is just a hypothesis. I think what we're seeing is we are seeing I lost my train of thought. I know what I'm going to say. We see a rebuilding of civilizations time after time after time after time. We see these catastrophic events happen, and then it wipes out everybody. And then there's some survivors on the outlying aspect, and they multiply, and then you have civilizations again. And then boom, an ice age happens, or boom, the ice melts, or boom, the flood comes and it wipes out almost everybody. And then people do it again. And I think what you're seeing is, I think you're seeing these different layers of soil that have these different histories and these different buildings and these different pieces of stone. You're seeing civilizations that are older than the civilizations we think are old. A lot of people point to Göbekli Tepe as being the oldest, but I think what we're finding is we're finding even older civilizations. And what we have to understand is the map did not look like we know it today. Antarctica itself was actually land. It was a land mass with lush vegetation. It wasn't a frozen tundra like a lot of people think. And we have Bimini that was, off the coast of Florida, the Bahamas, and it was a bigger island than what we see today. So we can sit here and talk about that couldn't have happened because it was not existent, and these people aren't real, and this person is a quack. But mainstream archaeology will not accept this. And we have to ask ourselves, why? Is it because the catastrophic events are something that happen on a regular basis? Mankind gets too full of himself, as we have seen in the Mahabharata scriptures that talk about a nuclear war happening. They talk about radiation sickness. We have in the Bible, it talks about radiation sickness and a wind, mind you, a wind that had similar features to radiation when an atomic bomb hits. We have places in the Sahara that are still measuring high radioactivity. We have Rajasthan in India that is measuring high levels of radioactivity. That is okay, Leah. We are glad you're here. We appreciate you being here, and you don't have to apologize. Watch the show at your leisure. That's what it's about. So I think what we're seeing, like I've said before, is you're seeing people dig up the past, but you're seeing people dig up under the past. And under the past is really where all of the answers lie.
Another interesting thing I noticed too, and I've been thinking about this for the last week or so. We've both watched the Graham Hancock documentary on Netflix, and people can take his conclusions the way they want. No bias, no, you say what you like about it. One of the things I've noticed is that a lot of times when we talk about these ruins, they're all in an elevated place.
Yes.
They're in an elevated place, and they've been abandoned or left behind for some reason. Now, if there was some kind of catastrophe where a good majority of the regions were flooded, sure, you're going to go to a higher place. That's where you're going to hang out. But when the water goes down and everything else gets better, what's going to happen? You don't need to be on the higher place anymore. You're going to leave that place, which is smaller, too small for your needs, as your civilization grows, and you're going to go back into the lowlands again.
Mhm.
And I think that's one thing that's easily overlooked, and we get kind of conspiratorial about it. I think we think, oh, well, they just mysteriously vanished. Where did they go? Well, they maybe just went back down into the other lowlands, and then they started some other of the nearby civilization,
Yep.
and they didn't need this ritual area anymore. Maybe they visited every so often, but over time, people forgot about it. People moved on, and the planet changes a lot. Like we're in cycles of. They say there's
100%.
like a 40,000 to 50,000 year cycle of upheaval that happens, and that's something that was tracked by the Sumerians, the Babylonians, and the Egyptians, and the Native Americans, and the Mesoamericans. All of those
That's right.
separate cultures, they tracked usually between 40 and 50,000, give or take, and they said that the planet changes to such an extent that it's like the planet dying and starting over.
Yes.
Like the Mayan calendar has the ages where there was a death of the planet by fire, a death of the planet by water, a death of the planet by something else.
Yes.
And I think these people knew over time, whether they had the same sort of data collection that we do now is irrelevant. I think they somehow understood that the planet goes through these cycles.
Yes.
And maybe they were able to survive it, and maybe they weren't. I think a lot of places they weren't able to, and it just went by the wayside. But the survivors kept on going, and I think that's where we're at now. I think we're at a point where we're going to be coming across another cycle, and we're ignoring the way that the cycle works, and it's going to hit us pretty hard. But I think we feel like we're so confident that, oh, look how
Yes.
advanced we are, look how high up we are. And I made this point on last week that the word advanced doesn't necessarily mean that you're a better, more technological, more whatever overall society. Like to us, an advanced society compared to us would be using laser rifles, and they'd be colonizing stars, and they'd be doing all these things, Dyson spheres. But to people back then, advanced meant, oh, these people are doing things that we can't do. They've
Yes.
got this clockwork device. They've got these water wheels. They've got these irrigation techniques. They've got all this stuff.
That's right.
Advanced just means better than what you have now.
Yes. Yes. You're right.
And we ignore that. I think we don't understand what that means. So as could there have been an advanced culture in the past before the ice age broke that was wiped out in a cataclysm? Sure. But it might not have been more advanced than us now. It was more advanced than the people at the time. And I think we just have to accept that kind of thing.
I think too what we're seeing, and like I said, I just read from Genesis about Cain 4. I read 4:3 to like 4:15. But the land of Nod, we have Iram of the Pillars, we have the Thamud, we have the Zoroastrians who talk about another land. We have Quetzalcoatl, who was a serpent, but he was also a man. He was a serpent deity, but he was also a man from another land and helped people advance. And his land was destroyed. Now, a lot of times, if Sukalos was here and his hair was here, he would say, well, that's because the aliens and they were extraterrestrials and they came from another planet. But I don't think everything's aliens. First of all, I think that's a horrible theory, mind you. I mean, if you have it, that's fine. But what I think we see here, and I want to point out something that Spider said. We think we're indestructible. We think we are the, top tier of humanity. There's never been anybody as advanced as us. There's never been anybody as powerful as us. We are the best. And what I think happens to civilizations, and it talks about it in the Bible and talks about it in the Quran and it talks about it in those other things, is that people become arrogant and they don't pay attention to the signs around them. They don't pay attention to this, the chance that the volcano at Yosemite is going to erupt. And if it does, it's going to cause a very huge problem for the world, not just for us, for the world. People are ignoring that. People are ignoring the melting of the ice caps. And what I think, and like I said, this isn't a debate on climate or climate change or an environment, but what I think happens is humanity will always do something to cause shifts in societies, civilizations, nature. And I think what happens is you have these catastrophes that happen because of man's arrogance, not because, he just lives and helps other people live, but because of his arrogance, because humans don't listen. They said, like Spider said, this is the Spider's point here. The fact that people are living in Louisiana, right? And people live in the bayou. Now, the bayou is a water land. It's a water highway. You take boats through it. You got to watch out for alligators and crazy things happening. But people live there. They live on houseboats. They live in areas where, yes, the house could collapse, but they still live there, pointing out to humanity's resilience, if you will. But like he said, people still live there. And then we have Katrina that happened. And I think Katrina was in what, 2004? I want to say 2004.
It was during I think the second Bush Jr. administration,
which should be 2004 because 2000
Yeah.
that was when he was first.
And they've
president.
still never fully recovered from it
No,
either.
they have not.
They've stopped talking about it.
Well, once again, the arrogance here, they didn't reinforce the levees. The levees were old, and they were ill prepared for that. If they would have fixed the levees, that wouldn't have flooded. That was going to be, but that's a whole different argument for a whole different day and a whole different type of discussion. What I think is that mankind's arrogance supersedes his knowledge. It always will, because we look at things like the nuclear bomb that Robert Oppenheimer built, and he basically said, "I am the destroyer of worlds." He felt, man. And if you've ever seen the actual video of him, the whole speech he does, he looks dead in the eyes. He looks 100% dead in the eyes. Like he knows what's going to happen. And it just happens, But I think that these civilizations, the Antarctica, the Atlantis, Lemuria, all these places, I think very much existed. I can't rule them out. Does that mean that Fey folk lived on them? I don't know. But here's the thing about that and the people that live in these places. It's very possible, because the earth would have been a different place. It wouldn't have been like it is today. It could have been habitable for pixies, for elves, for hobbits, for dwarves, all of that. I don't rule that out. We have so many legends of dwarves and pixies and elves and
trolls and
elf chefs and all that, that to me, you have so many people that talk about that, and the Gollums. And the funny thing about it is you'll have something in North America, in Native American mythology, i.e., the deer god. You have deer men, and then you jump over to Celtic folklore, and you have Cernunnos. And then you have the Irish coming over and mixing with the Native Americans and bringing their belief systems over. However, what I think at one time, and this has been proposed, that the Phoenicians were able to go around the world, and they did, and left traces of themselves everywhere they went. And we see that. We see all these ancient civilizations, Assyrian, Babylonian, Akkadian, Chaldean, all of these civilizations that existed, and they don't exist anymore. And because I don't know anybody that's like, yeah, I'm Assyrian, full-blooded. I'm full-blooded Chaldean. I'm full-blooded, this, that, and the third. And I mean, obviously, they, once their civilizations collapsed, they mingled with other civilizations and bred with other people, and they had children, and that just sort of dwindled out the Assyrian genealogy in a way. And then you have these tales of ancient civilizations, big, huge places that had all kinds of technology. And like Spider said, advanced doesn't necessarily mean that they had like, giant computers and things like that. Advanced just means that if Spider's eating with his hands and I have a knife, fork, and a spoon, I'm more advanced than he is.
Exactly.
It's not the fact that I have a laser fork or I have a laser knife or anything like that. He's eating with his hands still, where I have been like, I can eat with utensils. So I'm more advanced.
Mhm.
Advanced, like he said, is just one person, somebody having something better than another person. And we are so quick to say advance, and we're like, oh my God, they had flying ships and they had battles in space, which could have happened.
Anti-gravity technology.
Right.
It's like you always hear anti-gravity technology when people are talking about the pyramids and people are talking about the megaliths. And you know what? I can't say it's not possible, but looking back, I can't say there's evidence for it either.
And I think we like to overlook the magnet aspect of everything, because magnets can create some anti-gravity if you suspend two magnets between each other, move an object in between that. It's a different level of gravity there. But anti-gravity is a tough one. I will admit that. But then you have Adolf Hitler, who supposedly used that for the Foo Fighters, for
The
these
bell.
other, the Glocken, yeah, and it's like, was it true? Supposedly ended up in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
From ended up in Pennsylvania, which of all places, right? You must get to the Pennsylvania. You've got to do it, Pennsylvania. Like Hitler was like, if we're going to settle anywhere, it's going to be Pennsylvania. Yeah, I mean, it's nice there. It's got nice camping and beaches and rivers.
Apple pie.
The what's the mountain range there? The it's not the Appalachian. I don't think the Appalachian Mountains run through there. I think it's a different mountain system. I don't think it's the Adirondacks, because the Adirondacks are in New York, I think. But there's a name for that mountain system, and my brain is like, I don't remember what it is. But if you guys remember out in the chat, feel free to spam the name, and then we'll. Man, now I'm mad about it because I want to know what it's called. Have to use the old Google machine after the show, and then let you guys know in the comments on the official Facebook group. So to recap everything, we talked about lost civilizations tonight. I did a little reading from the Old Testament. Our announcements are as follows. I will be doing a 12-hour stream on Sunday from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. EST, Eastern Standard Time. Please stop in, show some love, donate. Donate. It's for the babies. I'm doing donate. Like,
none of it's for us. So if you guys are like, I ain't giving them guys any kind of
I don't want anything.
It's not for us. It's for St. Jude's, 100%. Some people are kind of like about that kind of thing. But
I'm being sneaky in this uncanny earth. I don't know who that is. I don't think it's Leah. I wonder who that is.
We can easily find out.
I want to say it's probably Steven.
I think it's Mr. Deadpool himself.
I think it's Steven. That's what I think.
Is it?
Let me know if it is.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it is. What's up, buddy? Welcome into the show, my friend. We were just talking about lost civilizations. My 12-hour extravaganza, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So if any of you want to donate food, you can do that to me. But other than that, none of the donations. Actually, it'll be through Tiltify, and they get the money.
And that's this Sunday, the 11th.
Sunday, the 11th, yes. 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And also, this is cool. You guys will appreciate this. So I am getting ready to send this bad boy off. This is Ancestry DNA. It was given to me by a very special person, and I am going to take it and probably send it off tomorrow, actually. So I will send it off tomorrow. When I get the results, when you guys be able to tell me or you guys be able to know like where I come from, who I am, what kind of country I'm from. Some people say I am part Italian, but I do not know if that's true. So I have been told I am part Italian. So I don't know if that's true. It could be. Forget about it. Robbie Ravioli. Robbie Ravioli will be making a return for Fallout for Hope. That is the charity that I am streaming through. be sure to come through and hang out. So that will be, I got to make sure I get my signed up, get that going. So that will be December 11th from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Drop in. Tell your friends. If you haven't followed me over there on my Twitch, you can follow me at www.twitch.tv/thisuncannygaming for I don't know who posted that. I don't know who posted that. I think that was Leah. You have to tell me because I can't see.
No, that's all Deadpool.
Is it? Okay. That's why we think you're Italian. Hey, forget about it. So yes. And DNA that also I'll be starting a Bible study on the official YouTube channel. Be ready for that. It's not going to be a confrontational one. It's just going to be me reading some passages, interpreting. Feel free to come in and chime in, and we'll have a debate and/or discussion. No name calling, no fighting. I will not tolerate it. So do not do that. We'll also be getting into some other religious texts too. We'll be reading from those, and we'll also be. That's funny.
As long as you keep your shirt on.
No, I'm not. I can't make any promises. Especially after I've been working out and I'm buffer now. Can't make them
Keep
promises.
your shit on. What you think this is? The Riviera?
It is. Who is that?
I gotta check again.
See, you got to be on top of that because I can't see because it just says Facebook user.
Dang. Oh, that was Leah.
Yep. Funny joke time. You'll pay for that. Funny joke time, Leah. Real comedy hour, Penguin. Real comedy hour, Penguin. Real comedy hour. Pengu Supreme. So yes.
Also,
here we go.
We are, once my shipment comes in, we're going to be getting together for a Uncanny Spirits Club tasting. Probably several, actually. And in the meantime, there's all kinds of other content coming up once I 100% feel better. I got sidetracked doing everything. But there's going to be more things coming up on my Spider Does Things channel. And so, yeah, we've got lots of things on both ends of the spectrum all coming up.
Who made the wife beater joke? Who was that?
That'd be Leah.
It's comedy time at the Chuckle Barn, I see. I mean, I have one on now. They're very comfortable. I wear like 3 shirts or 3 layers of clothing. I wear the beater. I wear the. If I wear a wife beater, I got to get some spaghetti sauce on it. So, yes, but I got that. Then I got a T-shirt, and then I got the sweatshirt. So yes, 3 articles of clothing. Anyway. Spider sometimes wears like 7, so he,
I do.
He does. He wears 7 of them. Yeah. Also, we'll be doing more expeditions too, so look out for that. Be on the lookout for that. That will be probably January. We'll be releasing
after the first of the year.
Releasing the first expedition video, Rogues Hollow, which will be coming out. I want to say middle to end of January. I want to get back out there in the wintertime because I've been out there in the wintertime, and it is crazy. There's nothing. Like when me and Spider went the first time, or it was the first time, we saw a bunch of stacked rocks. Then we felt a presence watching us. It was so weird. We knew something was there, but it wasn't hostile. But it was basically telling us, be careful where you're going. Don't tread too far in places you don't belong. Because that feeling ebbed as we walked away from it. So that was really weird. So weird. And there was a bunch of stacked rocks, and they were high, talking like 3 feet high of stacked rocks, and they went out pretty far. So, I mean, they could have been people. That was the time we found that ritual that was done.
Yeah.
The pink and white candles. That was weird. So it was a bunch of weird occurrences that happened at that time. So, I think that's it.
Yeah, I think we covered everything.
I don't think there's anything else. If there is, we'll let you know in the official Facebook group. Head on over to This Uncanny Official. Also, head on over to www.youtube.com/@ThisUncannyEarth. Also, head over to www.twitch.tv/ThisUncannyGaming. And also head over to, what is yours? What is your Spirits Club going through?
It's youtube.com/@spider-does-things. I got the link changed. So you can watch the Spirits Club videos there. Rob is still involved in some of those. I do a lot of it myself, but he's still part of the Spirits Club. But I also do like robo reviews and whatever random other stuff comes up. I had a cool idea and silly, but it's gonna be cool. I'm actually gonna be reading some of my daughter's children's books
Perfect.
just for fun.
Perfect.
Like straight up, like not even no changing, not like trying to be funny about it, just straight up reading. So I can read your child a bedtime story.
I would rather not, but that's fun. I don't want to scare my child. And it's funny you mentioned this because I will also be doing a Christmas Carol at some point. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'd like to read it like close to Christmas time. I need to figure out the length, but I would love to get some other people involved. I would love to do a radio play. So let me know if you guys would be fun with that. Let me know.
No, I'm not reading that book.
Go the.
They're gonna be appropriate books. Sorry.
But I will be doing that, and I would love to have Spider play a role. I'll play a role. If we can get Leah in this, she can play a role.
I mean, clearly, I'd probably have to be Scrooge.
Nope, that's me.
But you like Christmas.
I know.
Oh, so that's what's gonna be. It's gonna be like a flip thing.
I'll be Reformed Scrooge.
In that case, I'm gonna be Tiny Tim.
That would be hilarious.
I'm gonna be Tiny Tim.
I'm
gonna play it straight too. I'm not gonna even try to be funny. I'll play it straight.
I feel like you should just be Death.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a lot of lines though.
He doesn't have any lines.
Figured it out.
You could be Jacob Marley.
Could be. Rattle my chains.
You got chains?
I might have.
Okay. Find some chains. I think we can do this. If Leah's down, you're down, I'm down. We need because I can do voice work. I'm not too afraid to do voice work, but I'd like to get 2 other people. We could do a radio play on Twitch. That'd be legit. So I'm gonna talk to the parties I mentioned. Steven, if you also would like to have a couple lines in with that bad pupper, let us know. We got a part. Yeah, I would love to have my son play Tiny Tim. That'd be fantastic. Be adorable. Be totes adorbs, as the people say these days. Anyways, everyone, it is 108:58. Yes, please. Who is typing this?
Everybody's typing this.
Yeah, this is the weird thing. I don't know who any of these people are.
You got to look it up on Facebook. Yeah, Deadpool's been the last 4.
So he said, let's get everyone in this thing. Yes, please. Radio play. And can you read him? Okay. I just got to make sure. Yeah, because I would love to do it. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I think that everyone I've mentioned is an excellent actor, actress, / and it'd be fun to do. So I will be getting in touch with those people. No, you're good, Deadpool. I just can't read who it is because it says Facebook user on our end. So it worked for a while, but then it went rogue on us like an AI. So there you go. He's going to be reading children's books to your children.
It's going to be good though.
I'm glad. No, that's good. Listen, it's all part of the network. All part of the network, and we'll be crossing over into each other's things, of course. You know, so of course I'm going to be involved in maybe some of the robot reviews.
I'm going to bring over some robots, and I'm going to have you look them over as a fresh perspective because I know how I feel about them. I don't know how other people feel about them.
And I love Transformers, so we both have a love for Transformers, and I have Godzilla stuff too.
Yeah,
so I could showcase that even. Yep. So we're gonna be bringing you guys a lot of content. So just subscribe at the channels we've told you. Be prepared for all of our content. If you don't see it live, it will always be available for viewing after the fact. Also, I am working on getting everything up in Audacity, including these episodes. It is a time thing, so it's going to be a minute before everything is up there, but we're slowly working our way up to that. So, Oh yeah, new Transformers game was announced. I saw the trailer for that.
Yeah.
Legit.
And a new movie. There's a new movie going to be coming
Legit.
out.
I'm
Rise
excited
of the
for
Beasts.
I'm excited for Armored Core 6. Did you see the preview for that yet?
I didn't yet, but now I
Not
got to
bad.
go back and look at
Not
it.
bad. Not bad. Anyways, we could talk about this stuff all night. We could just keep talking. Wouldn't even matter at this point, right? Anyways, we're gonna leave though because we all have things to do and people to see and people to do. I don't know people to do, but it's it's life, I guess. The game of life, which is a weird game, but gonna fly high. Are you dabbing?
No,
You're not Heiling Hitler, I hope.
no, I'm doing the Hulkster.
Anyways, you awesome folks, we love you guys always. As always, why be boring when you can be uncanny? We will see you folks next week. Peace.